Okay, looks like it's working.
Looks like it's working. Are we back?
I think we're back.
Looks like Twitch is doing that thing again, but YouTube should be back up and running.
How can I refresh it in Twitch? Just refresh the browser?
Yeah, go ahead and try and refresh in the browser, but I'm trying to make sure if anyone's joining us right now, sorry.
Mhm.
We
It looks
should be
like we're
back though.
streaming.
Yeah, we are streaming,
Yeah.
at least on YouTube.
And on Twitch, I'm sure.
Twitch is looking up, is on for y'all. We're back.
Yeah.
Okay, yep, we're back. Oh my god. So sorry about that, everybody. Oh my gosh. We had a little bit of a technical hiccup on our side here, so apologies, especially if you're in Discord coming back and you're getting the 7 million pings from the @everyone. Apologies. It's not intended. But I think we can pick up right where we left off, right, guys? Want to quickly take a step back on what we were talking about before, which was, do you see yourselves, y'all's memories, y'all's own personal investment inside of Ascendant? Because there's a lot of 80s in here, not a lot of biopunk though. But talk to me about that. Do y'all see yourselves in this game here?
Yeah. I think I'm not sure if we caught it before we got cut off, but seeing some of the old clothing and things that we recognise, like the Walkman, for example, having growing up with Walkmans and listening to music on them, and we've got one outfit which has a Walkman with headphones, and you've got the old sponge material that goes on the ears and the metal frame and all that. So yeah, and colourful clothing and whatnot. So there's some aspects of the clothing that relate to, but we're eventually hoping to get such a wide variety of things that everyone can pretty much create whatever they want, whatever suits their style, whatever they're into.
Yeah, I know. I've heard some like crazy suggestions from the team internally. I'm not gonna lie. I said, can we do an '80s gimp suit? See where we go from there. Y'all guys have that on y'all's radar now. That was me. If y'all didn't know. Okay, so now let's kind of get into the meat and potatoes of stuff here. And that's starting again, Gabor. We were talking about this right after this discussion about seeing yourself in the '80s. Talk to us a little bit more on how the process from the concept gets pushed through and how the design starts to kick off there internally here.
So first of all, we have to define the theme, what we would like to go for it. So just, for example, okay, we have to take as a sample like a 80s pop star. So looking for the references and define which one, what we would like. And we have to be carefully because there are many copyright stuff from that time. So just I can say with it, like mimic it as we can, as it happened, as it looked, and somehow we have to mixing with our definitely newer and newest approaches and visuality, and at the end something is coming out that should be the character. So in the practice, it looks every new character which is going to the production line is just a third of it, or just 20% of it, what we've done in the sketch phase. So it's definitely the final output of each character is the result of the hard work.
Okay. So let's kind of talk, and not just talk, but also show what some of that hard work looks like. I'm going to switch scenes here, and we're going to just briefly go over a 2D concept that y'all guys have put together here. So we want to switch the scene here, and let me make sure that I have the full screen showing here. Alrighty, y'all should be able to see this right on y'all side.
Yes, you can see it.
Perfect, perfect. So talk to me. Who is this badass looking motherfucker right now that we're looking at?
So he's Mr. President Piston. So our concept artist has a good chance to give funny names for his characters. So some story behind him. So as we know, in the 80s, there's many veterans from the Vietnam Wars. So the typical easy riders and bike riders, mostly veterans. So that's the starting point and reading the typical motorbiker stuff. And the
Sorry about
piston
that.
is where are you? I cannot see.
Yeah, I'm fixing it right now. I just realized I couldn't see chat while I was working on this.
Okay, so his name is just reflecting to the bike piston, and it's a kind of version of the biojuice holder, the battery pack. So the character artist made a pretty good design for that battery pack from the piston, as you can see on the right side.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some typical elements, like that's the typical way how we can showing the age of him, like gray hair and gray beard, and the typical other extra elements what we are using, because it's all together. Don't forget it. It's a kind of sci-fi game. So some sci-fi elements. And you can see the breathing apparatus, the respirator close to his neck, which is provide you the fresh air, because the whole environment where we are living, it's not perfect for human beings. So so most of the stuff what he's reading is functional. It's not just for fun. But there are some fun stuff as well, I think. But you can see in each character, every element has an arm function, and hopefully is functioning in our world.
Awesome. I love to see like all the attention to detail here whenever it comes to that biopunk, that biojuice element that you discussed earlier. Where does it fit specifically, and what kind of role does it play also inside of the map, inside of the game, inside of the universe? Because if anyone who's new here, we don't have exactly a story mode, but we do a lot of world storytelling. So stuff that you see in the game, you'll start to see what kind of battle happened here, or why is Harmony so empty? Why are there big ass snails that have really big butts once you crack open their shells? Everything does have a place and a purpose in here, and you can tell just by looking at Piston here that like there's just so much going on with what you mentioned with the respirator that's allowing him to breathe clean air. Quick question: do you think that he smokes his cigarette inside of the respirator too?
It's awesome.
It's to negate the ill effects.
The ill effects of the clean air.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a kind of clean, but it's also bio.
Yeah,
It is also bio. Yeah. If you think about it, it is, huh?
It's
So
cool because when these
Don't-
designs come over to us,
don't forget, in the 80s, the smoking that was almost mandatory, especially in that time.
everyone smoked then, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think giving these outfits, like these designs, a character, a type of backstory to it, helps them design these clothing pieces, because at the end of the day, when we take that, it's pretty much the clothing that gets extracted from it, and then you can, the player can take a piece like that jacket, for example, and and swap it with another outfit piece, another pair of trousers. You can mix and match. So, initially designed as a one piece, one character, but when it goes into game, you can wear it as that, or you could mix and match, do what you want, change the colors up, even change the
I can
materials
change the
as
color
well.
of the juice now.
Not the juice, but the color of the jacket. Like, say your color of the jacket,
Oh, okay. Had to
the
be clear on that
clothing.
question.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's not the luckiest thing to change the color of the biojuice, because we can call that kind of technology as green tech. So just so how does it look if it's blue, the green tech? So,
All right, all right. Well, this opens up the possibilities of what blue tech. So, what is blue tech gonna do? Does it make you look, sexier? Does it make you look cooler? I don't know. I'm just pitching ideas out here. This is concept talk coming out of me right now. But green tech. So you dropped a little bit of lore right there, and I know that we haven't exactly talked too much about it, so we're gonna keep that one under wraps. Looking at the concept from the 2D perspective, let's kind of take a look a little bit more on what the next stage of concept is, and that is going to be a little bit more of like the color scheming of everything here.
yeah, Marcus. Marcus,
Yeah,
could you
yeah,
talk about?
yeah. I can talk. Yeah, sure. Yeah. So what you see on the right side is what we call the color maps that we divide the outfit into. So each color represents a texture or a layer that the outfit goes onto. And and also maybe I think it's Kevin, it's better that you.
Yeah, so Marcus was mentioning, like, on the left there, you've got, well, the first image. It's each clothing slot is identified, so you can see the jacket being highlighted in red, the top, the t-shirt in green. So that's there to let the artist knows who's making it. That's the single item that they're making, and it needs to be separated in that way. On the right to that, I was speaking about earlier, the tin maps, how you can change your colors and certain things. So we've got a primary, secondary, and tertiary and trim colors. So we create texture maps which identify parts of the mesh where you can be able to change the colors in game, using dyes, pretty much unlocking unlocking the dyes, and you'll be able to basically customize it to change the look in what you find appealing. Hope that makes sense.
No, yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, it's a bit of it's quite a lot of effort that goes into from the start to the absolute finish.
And what I like most about, particularly what you're talking about here, is what kind of texture is made up of the specific piece of clothing that we have here. Because there's so many different types of textures, if you really think about it, that it's not so easily translated well in the video games, because touch and feel make a big part of, what is the hell that I'm looking at? What am I touching? But what y'all done, creatively, and through the power of what seems like Unreal Engine, really show you what it is that you're looking at. You could quite literally see the fabrics, the stitching, the tears, and everything that we see in the in-game. So I really appreciate what y'all done with how customization plays a key part on, especially the concept of things here, because we're looking at the ideation piece over here. We see bikers, mentioned a lot over here. We see these really cool, badass knives on the side. It's probably not Marcus's, but there's a bike right there as well, like a motorcycle, that really fits together what exactly the impression he gives off whenever I take a look at him. I think biker in a dystopian world who's still managed to find his cigarette somehow.
Yeah. A lot of that stuff on the side is there for like material reference as well, so the artists can know when they're setting up the textures that this is leather, this is like aluminium or steel or glass and all that sort of thing. So it gives an idea to the artists on how to set up the textures and materials correctly, which is also inspiration of, you know, where the concept artist has got these ideas from.
I can't help but staring at me, but like y'all are so British, so English, because I'm looking at trousers and I just think I don't use that word. I just use pants.
Yeah.
All right, so the next stage here, right? We've talked about the layering and where the 2D kind of comes in. Now comes the fun part, which is, what is this?
Oh yeah, that's so yeah. We after we get the concepts, the artist, whoever's, you know, lucky enough to make one of these cool designs, starts to block out a high poly mesh, and this is where you can go crazy. You don't have to worry about try counts or anything like that, or how to build it. You can be as messy as you want. You're creating a high poly version of those objects, those pieces of clothing. And there is like feedback stages here, and once everything is approved and we're all happy with it, that's when it moves on to the next stage. This in itself can take quite a while.
I'd imagine that the feedback sessions is like trying to talk to, you know, like your girlfriend or your wife. You're getting ready for a night out, and she comes up to you and asks, "Do I look good?" And you give your honest opinion about it, and you know she's not satisfied with it, so you got to go back. So I'd imagine the feedback process can take a little bit of time. You know, you got to do things right the first time, rather besides, you know, do it once and come back to it later, I assume.
I would have to say, if that was true, there wouldn't be any feedback, because if your wife or your girlfriend says, "Do I look good?" you always say yes. That's it.
Okay, you are
no.
a very, very lucky person.
Always looks good.
I'll check in with you tomorrow to see if you're alive.
Yeah.
So after the high poly, right? You know, the high poly, actually, can you explain what that is for those who are not educated like myself? What does high poly mean?
So the 3D mesh is basically made up of polygons. So poly is short for polygons. So polygons, triangles. There's a count to them. So your typical game character could be, you know, like 50,000 tries upwards if it's more complicated, even less if you're being quite conservative. High poly refers to, you throw all that out the window. This is like 10, 20 million polygons and tries. So we don't worry about that. And there's this software called ZBrush, which lets you sculpt and manipulate very high detail meshes. So that is pretty much it. High poly is something that you can't use in game, otherwise, the performance would die and animators wouldn't be able to animate it. So this is the part that is prior to actually optimizing the mesh, getting a game mesh ready.
Okay, so like I could kind of like look right now on the bottom right over here in the screen. We could see like this man's head really kind of get sculpt shapes, like kind of looks like squares, if anything. I'd imagine that's where we're starting to see the material start to stretch, or at least how you want to paint over it. So
that's pretty much the low poly mesh that's been brought in, because we're not creating the player mesh. The player mesh has already been done. These outfits are done to fit onto the player mesh. So that's just there for reference to make sure that everything fits correctly onto the player mesh.
All right. I love to see it.
Okay.
All right. So let's go on to like the next subject here, which is meshing.
So this is so once it's all approved, then we take that high poly mesh and we create a low poly game mesh, which is what you're seeing there. And that's pretty much it. We use retopology software where it snaps to the high poly mesh and and we build out, basically trace the high poly, trace it, and build a more optimized version of it, and we end up with that.
Out of
Once that's
curiosity,
yeah, go on.
how long and how hard would it be to like mesh out the entirety of this person's skeleton, and as well as like interior, like organs and stuff like that?
Organs and everything, like you're talking about actual human, but that will take, I don't want to put a number on it. That would take a lot.
Don't want to put a number on it. Don't want to be told to put it in tomorrow, huh?
Yeah, well, that's human anatomy. That's that's like your doctor's animations, that how the heart works and here we're talking about clothing. We'll keep it simple. Game meshes. That's it.
All right.
Something like this could take a week or so. It depends on how complex it is, because as well as making the actual low poly mesh there, you have to, once that's all done, you have to consider how you're going to bake the high poly details onto that low poly mesh. Where you do that is by UV mapping it, which is pretty much it's like, imagine your clothing, you take out all the stitching, you expand it, you lay it flat down in a square grid, and then you can then overlay that mesh onto, say, that jacket onto the high poly mesh, use software which then transfers the detail from the high poly to the low poly texture, and then we use that in the game, which that's where you get all the nice textures and all the high details that you might have sculpted, the folds.
Mm-hmm.
That shows up with the texture. The normal map helps the lighting react. It helps the mesh react to the lighting. So yeah.
Okay. No, I love to see it. And finally, here we are, right here. We're at like the texture of everything.
Yeah.
And I can see that lighting that you're talking about right here. I can see how the light really bounces off the texture of this, what I assume is leather, right?
Yeah.
And it looks phenomenal. The green tech itself, the bio juice flowing. This really looks like something that exists only in, I think, a world that only Ascendant can create. So this looks absolutely incredible, especially at like a high resolution render. I can only play so far into the game and be able to like really get close and see all the cool stuff, but this right here is phenomenal. I just noticed he had a nose ring too. I didn't know he was so cool that he also had a nose ring in his nose.
Yeah.
We have oh, go on, sorry about that.
I was just going to say we have like a headwear slot, so you can wear things like hats. We also have a face wear slot, so you can wear like glasses and other items, jewelry items.
I know I have my character completely rocked out with like really big earrings, as well as lobe earring piercings as well, and I think she has like a nose ring as well. But I didn't know we got President over here with the nose ring. So dude's just too cool to exist. Honestly, it's unfair. Next, we do have a little bit more in terms of female characters that we're creating here. So I really love the reference page on this half right here, because we're seeing things that I can actually point out. We got Sigourney Weaver. We got that one girl, I forgot from where. We've got Karate Kid. We've got so much going on over here, and I really love the work, or at least like the big stuff that y'all are talking about. Whenever it comes to the big 80s conversation that we have, whenever it comes to implementing stuff that exists into the game, but also not necessarily, obviously, taking away from it, but being inspired by it. And who we have here looks, I think, like the perfect design. And I just looked at chat and someone said, she's thick. So we're gonna ignore that and move on to a little bit more of this character's design here. Can we talk a little bit more about her?
Yeah, so Love is the Battlefield is a very, very nice and famous Pat Benatar hit. And she looks like Pat Benatar, and a kind of mixture of Demi Moore and Sigourney Weaver and Pat Benatar mixture, with a big 80s hair, with a with a grease pomade, and the almost mandatory leather jacket or any kind of material jacket, but very, very colorful. That's the typical it's just thinking about the Miami Vice. There is everything
pinks
is
and the blues.
Yeah, the blue, pink. It's typical Miami Vice or Miami style. What we would like to mixing into the whole flow, and we have to care about all the time the wiring, which is not the normal plastic hospital-like tubes. It's most likely a little bit more natural, more vein-ish with some leaves. So we are walking in the broken shard because it easily can be the hospital-like tubes. Meanwhile, not this is our goal to earn it, but somehow after a couple of characters, we already found the right balance between these things, because every that kind of element has to be still functional. So, but I think finally found that kind of things, and then there are some other practical questions. These veins are running over or on top of the clothing, or just some of the characters are just reading that kind of things, which is part of their. So it's always the big question mark. But we finally found that kind of solution. So every biotech elements are on the top of the clothing.
Love to see it. Do you think we could fit a Heelys in her shoes? What do you think? Is that not 80s?
We'll need animation to go with that, and
I'm feeling inspired, boys. Let's make it happen. Those are really rad shoes. Like, I would actually unironically wear those myself in public. So might want to figure out how y'all could 3D print them IRL, so that way I can put them on. I'll represent them, I promise. We do have similar slides to Love is a Battlefield here, talking more about the layering process on textures, where exactly they're going to be placed specifically for the character design itself. So everything that we see here is very similar to what we talked about earlier. So I just want to quickly get this on screen. Is there anything that we want to talk about over here, Marcus, that you might want to point out that might be different from President?
No, I think this is maybe not self-explanatory, but if you look at the image to the left, that is the same setup as the previous one, where we have textures for different sets, like headwear, jacket, shirt, gloves, etc. And on the right side you have the primary, secondary, tertiary trims fixed. Those are the different colors that you can adjust in our character customizer. I don't know if that is
it's pretty similar, isn't it? It's the same sort of thing. So it's just to show to the artists who is creating it, give them a guide of where how to set these tint masks up and what the separate textures should be.
And for players who are looking at it for the first time, might be joining us, is this all right here is every color that you see right here is a space that can be changed within the game. So if you wanted to get a pink jacket with yellow trims as well, or yellow secondary right here, and then your trims, like your little zipper up here, you could use that and customize it to like any kind of color, and I believe any type of finish as well. So if you wanted like a matte black zipper, or if you wanted like a glossy, maybe even a gradient, you can do that within Ascendant, and I think that's actually super radical. More things that will come on top of this also is even things such as like patches that you'll unlock throughout the game as well. So you'll be able to put some really cool stuff on your jackets as well, on your clothing, anywhere on any of this, and just have some fun with the patterns as well as that we'll have for you to unlock.
Yeah, but definitely, yeah, you're right. There's patterns that you can overlay on the clothing. There's patches, decals, so you could put different prints on your t-shirts, on your jackets. So yeah, you can take that design there and completely change the look of it.
It seems like
which is great.
It seems like there's quite literally like unlimited possibilities on what you can achieve with their character customization, and y'all guys did a phenomenal job really bringing it together and also just making it super accessible. I think every time I jump into there, I feel like exactly where I need to go, what I need to click to get the outcome that I desired. So phenomenal work, guys. Quickly, just to kind of go through it, we've got some more high poly res images here that you can take a look at, see how she's come together at this stage of production, and then moving just a little bit forward more, we got the mesh itself, see how all of that comes together for the player's clothing, on lighting, textures, you name it, and then finally we've got the full result here. So love to be the artist who, as you said earlier, Cavi, who gets to put this into the game.
Yeah. I mean, even from this point, it goes on to the animation team, who then have to get export into game, and from there it goes on to someone else to implement it into the customizer. And yeah, it's from start to finish. There's a lot of people involved, so yeah, quite demanding to get new outfits in, but worth it.
No, definitely worth it. A lot of our players who have had a chance to play the game themselves absolutely gush over all of this kind of content. And every time that we bring a new creator in to try out the game, usually it's a good and bad thing, but I'm going to call it a good thing. They'll come in, they'll boot up the game, and they'll be met with the character customizer, and they'll have so much fun trying to build their character. They spend probably, I want to say, like almost 20 minutes making us go late at the start time of the tournament, or the tournament of the event, and it's nothing but good problems to have, that our players really resonate with the hard work that y'all put into here. So round of applause to y'all guys, and great job as always. That's gonna pretty much wrap up the presentation that we have here. Thank you to everybody here who took time out of their day to really explain things, not just to me, but to the community. There's a lot of hard work and effort put into there, and I know that with the previous version that they were on, that was just the tip of the iceberg, right? We have so much more to explore. So we'll have more information on what you can when you can participate in the next update for Ascendant, and that might be sooner than you think. Keep an eye out on our social media pages and stuff. Can't wait to jump into the game tomorrow. I hope you have a good time there, Marco. Next thing I want to briefly outline is I hope that this has inspired a lot of y'all who are watching today. This is actually a really big part of today's stream, and that is a contest that we will be holding exclusively for those who are really good at art, who are really creative, who are really passionate, not just about Ascendant, but about putting their own blood, sweat, and tears, maybe not blood, but maybe their sweat and tears into this. I know art can be a process, but we have a character creation cosmetic outfit contest starting actually next week. We're going to be running it from June 24th all the way to July 19th. Sorry about that. And the way that this is going to work is you have to create some really great character designs, submit them to us on our social media, submit it to us on whatever way that we have you submitting it to us, and you'll get a chance to pretty much have these fine gentlemen, and as well as a little bit of community support, bring in your outfit, your creation into the game as well. So there's your chance to really make your mark, not just on Ascendant, but in video game history as well. So that goes to our first place winners right there. We do have other runner-up options, or not options, runner-up prizes as well. $50 Amazon gift card vouchers or any kind of local currency that's for you specifically. We're gonna be giving those away. Starting not giving those away, but the top three, or not top three, but the remaining three from the first place winner will get a little bit of something out of it. So really excited to really take a look at some of the stuff that y'all guys will be creating. I really hope that somebody adds Heelys into these shoes, guys. I think I had struck gold with that idea right there. And also Gimp suit. If you have a really gross, disgusting Gimp suit, guys, bring it in here. These guys are going to take a look at it, and they're going to let you know if they love it or not and put it into the game.
Yeah, crazy ideas. Go for it.
Crazy ideas, but just remember, at the end of the day, there are people who have to look at this, so don't get too crazy.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you all so much. We're gonna close up the show today here. Last call-outs from anybody by chance that you want to say to our community, to any interested fans?
All outs, as in.
Do you want to say like, hey, like, do you are you excited? Thank you so much for being excited for our game.
Oh yeah,
that type of thing.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm old. I'm not used to this streaming or anything like that.
Of no problem. I'm here to help out.
Thanks for watching. If you did watch, and have fun with the competition. We do look forward to see the kind of designs that you guys come up with. Just as Gabble was saying earlier, advice would be think of a theme and maybe go with it, go a bit crazy, try and take on board the stuff we said about the biopunk, the green tech. It'd be really cool to see some ideas and make it personal to you, what you guys are into.
Even more crazier ideas are always welcome.
I'm excited to see how crazy they get. I know some people in this community can be outright just atrocious. I've seen some things that I maybe wish I was the man I was before I'd seen it. So thank you again, everybody. I really appreciate it. Last things that I want to ask is, if you haven't wishlisted our game, we are available on Epic Game Store and as well as Steam. Wishlists help us out in a very, very long way. So please give us a wishlist if you haven't. Be sure to follow us on our socials. We will be posting more information on the contest there, and as well as any other gamer destination. We'll have more information on our Discord as well. Feel free to ask me, or I'm going to be Jedi inside of Discord, or feel free to ask Conmiel, who is our other community manager. Thank you again, everybody. Appreciate the patience y'all might have had with us during your technical difficulties. So hopefully those who have stuck around had a chance to really, catch on what was going on. But other than that, thank you again, guys. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all's day, and everybody else, have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you so much.
Cheers.
Thank you, guys. Cheers. Bye.
Welcome to the post-apocalyptic party we call Harmony. Let's grab that sweet, sweet biocore. And may the most badass motherfucker win.
Hell yeah! We got the biocore.
What the fuck?
Let's rock and roll, baby.
Launch initiated.
Incoming airstrike!
Bang, bang, boys.
Hey, someone get me a bigger can of bug spray.
Shields activated.
Anyone else want a taste? What the fuck is that?
Burn, motherfuckers.
Rest in pieces, dumbass.
Toxic gas release.
Patch up, amigos.
Let's go on that.
Biosafety successful.
Oh yeah, like they're gonna need some serious therapy after that.